Where in Portugal are you?
In the north of Portugal, in Oporto.
Beautiful there.
Leland, I decided to make it an international show for you today. Then next Tuesday, you'll have Sherry and Jessica.
Oh, no, this is all great. This is all perfect.
All right, let's do this. I'm going to start this, even though I'm rolling, because I love the stuff behind and before stuff. You know what that's like, Mark. Leland, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Ready, set, go.
Well, hi, this is Leland Sklar, and I'm so thrilled to be here. I'm part of the immediate family, and this is my new immediate family right now.
With that, we got to start with ladies first. So we have Daniel Martin's bestseller. And obviously another international bestseller now, Mark Wilkinson out of the UK. So with his book called Life Remixed. So Leland, since we're starting with authors now, we got to start with your book first, because when I last talked to you in the studio, did you have any idea how big this is going to be? Talk about that.
Well, you know, the pandemic changed all of our lives dramatically, and suddenly a year's worth of work that I had disappeared, and I just was wondering, what the hell am I going to do for the next year, at least, while this is all raging? And people have bothered me forever about doing a book, because I've been collecting pictures of people giving me the finger for years, and I ended up with 12,000 photographs of everybody imaginable flipping me off. And I got together with a friend and self-published, and I have this huge coffee table book with 6,000 photographs in it of people flipping me off. And so far, I mean, it's going great. Just by myself, I've sold 3,000 plus now. And looking at publishing things, getting it to Japan and to Europe. And so it's been a challenge. I was never cut out for retail. I'm a bass player, you know. It's like so, but it's been fabulous, and the response has been great. The Los Angeles Times reviewed it in their book section and gave it one of the most rave reviews they've done. So it's really exciting, you know. But it's just it's fun. It's fun. We need fun right now.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Danielle, let's talk about your book, so Leland has an idea.
Please.
Okay. So my book is about getting rid of limiting beliefs, you know, and embracing your inner power, your superpower to achieve whatever you want, you know, because in life we are raised to believe more in what we can't do than what we can do. And getting rid of these mental blocks, invisible walls that we build to ourselves is like an inner process, you know, and I help people through my book to realize that they are all what they need. They just need to decide what is it that they want and work for it.
That's fantastic and so important.
Exactly.
And Mark, you, Life Remixed, go ahead.
thanks very much. Hi, Leland. Yeah, my book series is called Life Remixed.
I love that you're absolutely surrounded with it all behind you and stuff.
It's everywhere. My wife is certainly the visual person, and she makes it all look beautiful. But yeah, so it's called Looking Beyond the Dance to Face the Music, because I was resident DJ at Ministry of Sound when I was 25. I traveled to 65 countries, had a record in the top 10 when I remixed Lou Reed and David Bowie's Satellite of Love. I did some wonderful things for a young man and traveled all over the globe, until one day I collapsed out of nowhere, and my body gave way, and I was on the floor and I didn't know what was happening. The next 18 months was savage pain. I ended up with a doctor telling me I had an incurable disease. I ended up bankrupt off the back of it. It was just suicidal, just a time that it almost feels surreal now, but at the time I had to live through that. And the whole thing about, Life Remixed, obviously you well know what a remix is. I often get the bass part and make that really pumping for you, Leland. But for me, it was about remixing my entire life, not just remixing one record. And doing it has been a beautiful journey, and I'm happier, healthier, and wealthier than I've ever been, today. So I'm happy to say that, Was it ever diagnosed? What happened to you? Yeah, so it was diagnosed as ankylosing spondylitis, which is a rheumatic condition. I think it's Bruce Dickinson that had it as well. There's quite a few people. There's quite a few cases of people that have suffered with this rheumatic ankylosing spondylitis. But the thing about it is that some people will get a very mild kind of like aches, pains kind of that, and other people will just get savaged by it. And I was absolutely savaged by it in my 30s and actually again in my 40s. And I've written this whole book about how I've recovered using strategies from The Secret and Bob Proctor and Marcy Shimoff and created this like wonderful like life and aura and good relationships and positivity by, you know, or that mindset has allowed me to recover from the dis-ease, right? And that's the point. So
well, that's a hell of a journey.
Thank you.
I'll say that, and I'm so grateful that you've come through the other end of this. Okay, and certainly that disease is one of the best band names I've ever heard. Somebody should.
Well, I've just been looking at your discography, Leland, and that's something. If your Wikipedia page is right, that is some impressive stuff there, Leland.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely.
It's about half of what I've done, I think, is in Wikipedia. Because a lot of things never make it there, and but it's been a challenge for me doing my YouTube channel, which I started during the pandemic, because I visit that Wikipedia page because yesterday was my anniversary on the it was my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, and I have 491 videos I've put up since last March.
Oh my God!
I mean. Some of the names, Leland, Dolly Parton, Phil Collins, Ray Charles, Diana Ross, and I just picked 4. I mean, incredible.
Yeah, it's been a good run. I can't complain.
Beautiful.
And the thing is, I'm still looking forward. You know, I've still got lots of things in the fire at this point. So I'm just trying to enjoy it. Yeah, go ahead.
And in your YouTube channel, I highly recommend because it's full of stories. I love hearing those stories. You tell people about the backstage, how you arranged the sounds. This is so incredible because, for example, for me, that I am a branding strategist, I cannot help but looking at things from a branding perspective. And the first time I saw you, I was very young. I was, I think, an adolescent. And the first time I spotted you on the stage on a show of Phil Collins, I thought with myself, oh my God, that guy has so much style. And since then, you couldn't get lost, from my mind. I always, every time I saw a show from Phil Collins, you were the first that I would look for. Where is that guy? I didn't know your name because I didn't have access to internet that time, but it got stuck in my mind. Your look, your unmistakable look. Don't you think that it contributed for you to create such an impressive but such an impressive presence with the general public, because you have your YouTube channel and it's unmistakable that people love you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Did you see the show in Lisbon?
No. I've never been to a live show real from Phil Collins, but I do have lots of DVDs.
Okay.
From him.
Yeah, we did a great show in Lisbon, and it was the day before the World Cup, so we played in the same stadium that the World Cup was in, and we were blown away. And then when I work with Judith Owen, Pedro Segundo, who's our percussionist, is from Lisbon. We keep wanting to get back to Portugal for him, just to play for his family and his audience there. But that's great. Thank you so much for your time.
You are remarkable.
I'm still trying. Today I went to Argentina. I worked with an artist named Leon Gieco, and so I was showing his music today, and it's been fun. It's a real adventure every day.
Wow.
Hey Lee, have you even had a chance to rest? Because I think you've been more busier than that's what I thought.
And then with our band, we're now our 3rd EP is coming out, new videos coming out. Our album comes out August 27th. The documentary film that Denny Tedesco is making about us, who did The Wrecking Crew, it'll probably be finished by summer. Yeah.
I claimed this, Mark. I claimed this, The Wrecking Crew, 6 years ago. I was one of the first out of the box to see it. I'm still talking about it.
It's remarkable. It's absolutely incredible.
So, and with that, so Denny, because I like Denny, and he's going to be coming to the studio, so I'm going to get all you guys into the LA studio. If you never had a chance, Danielle, these are all the musicians who played on every iconic album. So you have the Funk Brothers, who played on all.
Wow.
You have the you have the Wrecking Crew out of Los Angeles, who played on, Frank Sinatra, Mamas and Papas. Glenn Campbell came out of there. Hal Blaine, the other great player, Carole King. And then now you have an immediate family called The Section, where you have Leland, you have Rush, you have Danny, all of those. I'm leaving out one or two. I'm sorry right now, but I can't wait for this film to come out. And I told Denny, Leland, I'm going to submit it in the fall for Santa Barbara Film Festival with Roger, because that's one of the best film festivals out there. And then Beloit International Film Festival, Wisconsin.
Yeah, what we're hoping is that if things open up enough where they have film festivals, because nothing can happen till it's safe. But when they do those, we want to go and play at it. When they present, the film, we would love to do a live concert for the audience too, so they could really get a feel for what this is about in the room. So there's lots of plans, So it's been one of the most tragic, horrible years imaginable. But there's also been some amazing things that have come out of it due to the lockdown. And I watch YouTube. I see so many creative people on this that are doing so many things that they would never have gotten to do had they not been put in this situation. And so I think my fingers are crossed that when this finally opens up again, that it'll be kind of like the Roaring '20s after World War I, and there'll be like this incredible outpouring of the arts and creativity and redirecting of people's lives, because people have, I think at this point, are figuring out what's important, what's not important, things that maybe they were bogged down in every day before this, suddenly not doing that. Suddenly they went, I really didn't, I really don't need that. And they're finding other things that are more satisfying, like writing books and developing a healthy life and friendships.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I would say in every crisis there's an opportunity, and even in my own personal health crisis there was opportunities to learn, and financial crisis as well. There was opportunities to learn, and now the world is in a crisis, but there'll be opportunities for us all to learn. Yeah,
absolutely.
I keep saying the musicians are going to be the ones. The musicians are going to be the ones to get everything rolling again, because it's not going to be on the movie side. And I keep telling all my musician friends, you got to make sure you got your songs written, your books written, because you aren't going to have time. You're going to be on the road real quick. And I always say this, after October of this year, things I think will start to open up slowly and safely. And Leland, so I don't think you've gotten your glass yet, but I'm very, very happy that you got your glass, because me and the girls have had ours for years. So now you have yours.
It's crap here. I'm moving to another room. Hold on, just.
Hey, Leland, did your glass come in yet?
Hang on, he's moving. He's moving into
it.
But Brian and Leland, Danielle's, I think, already got a copy, but I'd love to send you both a copy of Life Remixed as well. So let's.
I need it.
Get your address. Yeah, I'll get your address.
I would love to check it out.
Thank you. I'll make sure you both get a copy.
Leland, so your glass that you got, the girls.
I haven't got it yet. I haven't got it yet, but I've seen it. She sent a picture. It's fabulous.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'll show you the picture in a minute. Yeah, that's my friend Cindy Wade. So Sherry and I. So when we have you guys in, she's going to end up making the whole band and Denny one their own glasses. So when we have you on the show, like I said, I got plans for these guys, Mark and Danielle.
That's great.
When it is safe. And like I said, it's after October, because next year's Santa Barbara Film Festival is either in January or February. The Beloit International Film Festival is in February. These guys already know that Denny's got something going on out there. So I'm setting it up, and they're already like, we already want it, because I turned them on to the Wrecking Crew back then. And Herb Albert, and they had Sergio Mendes, which was good. So I love taking these things like that and then just moving them. So immediate family is going to be great. So Leland, talk about that, or what you can talk about, how did Denny do some of the interviews with you, Rush, Danny, and why?
Carefully. Yeah, carefully. You know, it's been one of these situations that with lockdown, now at this point, we've all had 2 shots. So we're far more comfortable being together. And we're actually going to start rehearsing in about 2 weeks just to get our chops back up, get our mojo back up and play together. Plus, we're fortunate to be with a record label that's really supportive, because our album was supposed to be out last November, but now it'll be August. But we said, look, we've got all this new material. So they said, go in and cut another album. So we're going to go in the studio in May and do another album for next year. But Denny's done, I'm curious about the film because Denny's done tons of interviews with everybody from James Taylor, Phil Collins, Carole King, Linda Ronstadt, Peter Asher, Billy Bob Thornton. I mean, you kind of name it. There's tons of them. And I have no idea what direction it's all going. So it's going to be an adventure for us. We have one major piece of filming to do next month where we're going to go to the old A&M studios, which are Henson Studios here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they've given us Studio A, and we're going to set a big table up, cater a dinner in, and we're all going to sit and tell stories. And that, I think, is going to be really essential. But the thing that with Denny that was interesting was when he talked about the Wrecking Crew. The Wrecking Crew really existed for about 12 years altogether. And they never left the studio. They only did people's albums, and that was it. And he said, look, you guys have been together over 50 years now. You've toured with the artists, you've written songs for them, you've produced them. It's a completely different thing. And that's what gave him his spin to do this. And, and for us, we don't really see our careers. I'm happy to be an employed musician. So I love when the phone rings and I go to work. And so to have somebody actually going and presenting our lives to us is pretty interesting. But all the interviews and stuff, we've been very careful with monitoring, taking temperatures, keeping distance, masking, except when you had to talk and things. We're all very cognizant, and we're all, in the beginning, it was all about age groups, and we're all like in our 70s, we're not kids. So you wanted to be careful with all of this stuff and not screw up. But it's really thrilling. I'm really excited about everything and the idea of doing film festivals and interviews for the group. It's pretty amazing. A bunch of fart.
If you didn't get a chance, this is what his glass looks like.
Great.
We wanted to surprise him. Sherry Nelson, I had my other co-host. You guys haven't met yet. We wanted to surprise him with his glass. What was your reaction in fan room when you saw it, Leland?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, then I went and looked at all of the ones she's done. She's really good. I mean, it's really, I've never seen anybody else doing these, and it's really a lot of fun.
She's the only one in the world because they're all handmade, they're handcrafted. Mark and Danielle, I want to get you guys some too, because there's like a couple gifts I like to give to my friends, and these are one of them. And then, when I think back to Studio A, for you guys, if you get a chance to see it, it's the Herb Alpert documentary is great.
Oh yeah.
Studio A is named after Albert Herb, and that's where a lot of iconic musicians would go. That was the stage, and I walked in there once. I'm like, oh, everybody was here. I was like a little kid, and just about that, because that Herb Alpert doc, John Scheinfeld directed. He's Bad Company next. So I'm like, okay, what's going on with Bad Company? Because I want to know. I want to get the jump onto these things because iconic people, they're still here. Let's get them before something happens, and you just don't know, Well, now, this is Leland. I tell everybody it was an honor to have you and Kenny Arnoff in the studio, and there's this great photo that I'll always treasure. Leland's wearing this black mask, and I have my shield. But I set it up that I wanted these guys to be safe, to feel safe, because it's very, very important.
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you, and also your studio is really one of the most comfortable rooms to sit in and talk. You've got it set up so beautifully over there. It was really a great hang.
And, so one of the other authors, Roberto, is coming next down there, so he'll see it now.
Exactly.
But yeah, Leland, do you think of someone this may be a hard question, I'm sure you've been asked it, who you played with that you could probably think of?
Oh, there's still lots. I mean, first off, there's lots of young artists who I hear that it would be really fun to play with. I've never had a chance to work with Steve Winwood or Billy Joel, or Paul Simon, so I mean, there's lots of people that, regardless of how many I've worked with, I enjoy everybody, and it would really be fun. And then there's also it would really be fun just to get a chance to, hang with all the guys like, with Geddy and Rush, and Flea with Chili Peppers and all these guys, because I enjoy everybody. And, I wouldn't play that, but it would sure be fun to hang with them. So, every day's an adventure. You just don't know what's coming around the corner. And that's why you want to still be here.
Exactly.
You don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
So Danielle, I saw you reaching out. So Leland, Danielle was so excited. She was putting up this great flyer of you coming on today. And then she was asking, she got so many responses from her friends around the world. All right, give me a question, Danielle.
Anything
Okay.
you like.
Rebecca Claus, she's a Brazilian guitar player, and she asks, what qualifications or skills do you need as an instrumentalist to be the sideman of an artist like Phil Collins?
Well, there's a lot of things that come into play. You need professionalism. You have to be dependable. You're not the kind of person that causes problems on the road, because so much of when you're working with people is chemistry, and you want to have relationships that are kind of seamless, where everybody gets along. You need dedication. I go in every time I work with somebody, I learn the material. I don't come there not knowing what I'm doing. So you come incredibly prepared so that they're comfortable and they feel you care about them.
Exactly.
But there's many aspects of it. But I think one of the most important things really is to be able to get along with people, especially if you're touring, because that's a very confined environment. And if somebody's, I always refer to them as a pant load. If you don't get along with them, it's like just and if you can't get on, if you're going to be sitting on a bus for 8 hours every day and you don't like the people you're with, it's very trying. But if you become like this family, like with our group, the immediate family, we've been together for over 50 years. We've never had a fight, an argument. We all respect each other. Everybody's very different in the group, but there's a mutual respect. And it makes being together really easy. And with Phil, James, Taylor, any of these people, Veronique Sanson, whoever I would work with on the road, Toto, it's all chemistry with everybody.
I would say, go on, sorry, Dad. I was going to say, Leland, it's not all glamour, is it? It's not all glamour when you're 8 hours on a bus, is it?
Well, no, it's the thing most players always say, I get paid, I do all the shows for free, and I get paid to kill 23 hours a day or 20 hours a day, whatever the schedule is, because the show is a gift. The show is like this magical thing that you get to do for an audience and yourselves and this thing. But people don't understand, like you walk off that stage, and Carlos Vega and I, who I miss dearly, we used to look at each other when we'd finish a show and we'd walk off stage and we would go from God to Cod. That one moment you're a hero, and the next minute you're going, what do you want to watch on the VCR? Kind of thing.
Leland, what's funny about that? I was talking to Howard Bloom about the same thing. And for Mark and Danielle, Howard Bloom was Michael Jackson's publicist, Prince, you name it. Everybody. And he said the same thing. He goes, you got to be able to exude that and create that energy and have it. And then you got to be able to not be able to walk off the stage and go and do drugs because that's where everybody has their thing.
Yeah. No, that's the danger of it. And a lot of people fall into that trap as their excuse. I've been lucky, and I don't pat myself on the back for it, but I've never taken a drug and I've never drank. I've never smoked or anything. So, I mean, it just was a life choice, because when I was really young, playing in bands, like when I was in a band when I was 16 and our lead singer died of a meth overdose, I was around people having like really bad acid trips and stuff. And I went, I'm too type A. I'm too much of a control freak to let go. I think if I ever did anything, I would fight it as soon as I felt it. rather than embrace it. So for me, I was always the designated driver. I made sure everybody got home okay. Yeah.
The sensible one. We all need the sensible one as well. You know? Yeah.
The boy, I mean, I always loved it when people would like offer me drugs and I'd say, no, thank you. And they go, oh, you put down. And I go, well, actually, I never started, because most people assume, especially if they would look at somebody like me, they would assume you were like some kind of freak. And, you know, and I'm not really, I'm just a really, you know, I'm like Ozzie Nelson, or, you know, just, you know,
you're a pure music man. I mean, you know, from my perspective, I got swept up in London in the 80s in the acid house and dance scene. And, you know, I'm not making excuses. I made mistakes, and they definitely contributed to part of my downfall. My addictions got hold of me in that whole music world. But thankfully I turned the corner, right? So that's
I'm so grateful for you that you did, because I know so many people that have gone that same route and that are no longer with us because it took them out, and it breaks my heart. Like when I worked with Tommy Bolin, when we did Billy Cobham's Spectrum, and Tommy I had known for years and was he could have been one of the greatest guitar players ever. I mean, like Jeff Beck said, seeing Tommy Bolin changed his life. You know, I mean, it's that kind of a thing. Yet he died at 28. You know,
you look at Amy Winehouse in more recent, someone who's got great talent and unfortunately passes away so young, you know, and there's a lot of people that pass away at 27, 28 when they've got that talent. And I had some talent, but at 33, it was when I went down. But my friend calls my collapse nature's handbrake, because it literally was like, right, stop, you know, start listening to some new information and try it a different way. And thankfully I was listening, Leland, right? And that's the important.
Thank God, because you know, this would really suck just to have 3 windows open right now and you weren't here.
Exactly. There wouldn't be any Life Remix. There would be Remixed.
It wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't be here. Exactly right. So no, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that feedback, because that's really, I'm really blessed that you said that. Thank you.
Great.
Danielle, you got another question?
Oh, yeah, I have. Sonia Cristina Paiva, she's a Portuguese image consultant, and she asks, what was the most memorable moment of your career?
Wow.
That's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard, because, you know, after 50 some years of this, there's been so many. You know, I mean, there's things that have happened on stage that were amazing. And I'll tell you, one of the most consistently memorable moments was being with Phil Collins, and every time we'd play In the Air Tonight, just the tension that builds up in an audience waiting for that drum fill. And then you see more air drumming and stuff going on. I still get goosebumps talking about it. And I never got tired of that. That's really one of those really special moments. But there's been so many over the years, and there's one. I did a video on my channel early on about a family that I met in Glasgow that were traveling to Ireland, and I hooked up with them. It was a mother and her 3 daughters and her little boy, and the little boy David was just turning 5 years old, and I've stayed connected with them. And David's now 35 years old. We have a deep bond and relationship. And I talk about this whole thing, and a lot of people that have gone through all my videos go, the one about the family's unbelievable. And on St. Patrick's Day, the mother, Adele, came on, sent me a video of her dressed as a leprechaun playing Danny Boy on trumpet. You know, I mean, it's just like, so a lot of the things I find really spectacular in my career are the things that most people would find mundane, perhaps, but they have the deepest connection to me emotionally.
They have meaning for you, right?
Yeah, absolute meaning. And this one's persisted now for 30 years. And I feel very fortunate. Another question.
Just a comment here. I have all the questions here,
okay.
But just another comment here. That I think it's so beautiful, the passion that you show for the work you do, because usually when we talk with other artists and musicians, and when we we as spectators, as viewers, we are so excited about that music, about that piece of art, and they, oh, I'm so tired of playing this, I'm so tired of playing that, and I am like, but oh my God, this is what moves people. And I think that your passion, you know, it really touched my heart, because I know that I am really enjoying the music of someone who is enjoying to play it. You know, this is so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And it's like, I've had people say to me, like, you played Fire and Rain so many times, you know, didn't you get sick of it? And I said, every time I walk out on stage, to me, there's going to be somebody in that audience who hasn't heard it. And that's who you're playing to. You know, and it's a simple song, but to me, when you do this, you really need to emotionally dedicate yourself 100% into it, because these people had a choice. They didn't have to be at the concert. They didn't have to be buying your music. And when you go out and present yourself, you want to present your music and yourself and your art in the best possible light you can. So when I go out to work, I'm as thrilled today when I walk on stage as I was 60 years ago when I started playing clubs. And when I get a phone call now to do an album project, I'm as excited as I was when I was first getting calls, because I feel so fortunate to have had my vocation would have been my avocation under other circumstances. And I wasn't headed towards music when I met James Taylor. I was in science and art, and I was maybe going to be a medical or technical illustrator. And I met this guy and my life changed. So you never know, but thank you for your kind words. That's really sweet of you.
Danielle, I think you might have one more. I'm going to let it go right down to the wire. So we got about 6 minutes. Go ahead.
Great.
Okay, one more. Camilo Cavalcante, Brazilian music branding strategist, he asks, do you prefer to create or work with bands or create for films and series?
I can't differentiate. You know, I love anytime I get to play music, I'm happy. You know, so when I'm working with bands, when I'm working in other formats, anything, I bring the same devotion and energy to whatever it is. I never draw the line on anything. I just jump in head first and hope for the best. And anytime I can walk in a studio and meet new people that I've never worked with before and create new relationships, it's really exciting at that point too. So
you've got a wonderful attitude, Leland. I love your attitude. It's wonderful.
Yeah, you know, how can you be an asshole in this business? You're so fortunate.
There's a few of them about, Leland. There's a few of.
Oh no, there's plenty of them, man. You know, but I don't understand them.
No, I mean,
you know, it's when they start complaining, I go, God, you know, if I was doing hot tar roofing in Atlanta in the middle of August, I might be complaining about things. They're working as a pit welder at General Motors or something. But the idea of playing music and getting out and entertaining people, why in the hell would you whine about this? I don't get it at all.
100% agree.
Yeah.
These musicians aren't whining now when they were locked down for a year, were they, Leland?
No.
Good point.
A lot of them won't recover from this, you know, just because emotionally it took everything out of them, because they didn't look at this as an opportunity to maybe pursue other things. They just looked at it as a time to go, shit, my life's over kind of thing. The people I worry about most.
I did a live remix.
No, you are absolutely in this rabbit hole and you came out into the light.
I couldn't resist, but we were talking about it. I couldn't resist mentioning it. But there's a lot of people, you know, I did go down that and I could have chosen exactly that path you said, which is just give it up. But actually, like, no, hang on a minute. Come on, I'm better than this. Let's go again, you know, and that's the bit that I love.
But that's your tenacity that recognized that. A lot of people don't have that inner strength to pull themselves out of it and just go, no, this ain't right. I would like to help more people. I'm already helping people, Leland, but I'd like to help more people with that as well, because this time is a crisis and people can rise back out of it again. And that's what I'd love to be. Well, I think both of your books address that.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. So the main thing is just to get the exposure for the book so that people get turned on to it, and then they can, you know, model their needs after your experiences and take advantage of that. Because a lot of people really have questions, but they don't have answers. And these kind of things might help them with answers.
We all can learn from each other as long as we're open. As long as we're open-minded, we can.
We're a community.
Exactly.
So Mark, real quick, talk about what you've been doing Saturday nights, because I popped in for the first time to hear you Saturday, and I was loving what you were playing.
I love that, Brian. Thank you. Yeah, so every Saturday night now, I'm broadcasting to the world for a live DJ mix. You know, we've had about 800 to 1,000 people come through on Mixcloud. It's just on my mixcloud.com/Mark Wilkinson official. It's mainly house and dance music because that's what I grew up with, but lots of soul and funk and disco mixed in there and stuff like that. And, you know, I do love my bass lines, Leland, so we're in good company. But the point is that, you know, I'm bringing a lot of joy to people, even just from my home office, my home studio, and spreading that word and spreading the music, because my whole purpose is to bring joy to the world as best as I possibly can. Like you, that uplifting moment on the stage when you perform it as a DJ or a performer as a musician is the buzz. It's the moment that you live for, and it's so beautiful. And so, you know, I'm able to still do that from home using the book and obviously using my musical talents with my DJing. So thank you, Brian, for mentioning it, and do pop in next Saturday as well. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
I'm coming
great.
out
That
every
sounds
Saturday
like
now. Why
I'm
I'm
gonna
doing
check
shows.
it out.
Yes, mate. I love it.
Leland,
No,
you get the
that's
last
great.
word. We got about a minute left. What are some of your inspirational quotes? Talk about your book one last time and Immediate Family one last time.
Okay, well, just live life to the fullest and enjoy it, but be smart. You know, that's the main thing, and stay safe. We're still not out of this. My book is called Everybody Loves Me. And and if you want to check it out, my website for the book is lelandsklar'sbeard.com, because somebody stole my name and I didn't want to buy it back. So lelandsklar'sbeard.com. And I also have artwork on that website for sale. And I also made t-shirts that look like my beard on the front of them.
Oh, I saw that, Leland.
And then come to my
I got to
YouTube.
get one.
It's really funny, and it's really funny. And it's a really good quality shirt too. It's not a piece of shit that's going to dissolve, you know, the minute you throw it in the washing machine. And then come to the YouTube channel and subscribe, and maybe join the clubhouse. I do 2 live streams a month on it that go for about 2.5 hours. And then I have one-on-ones once a month where I do Skype or FaceTime with people for about 15 minutes each. And I do about 18 people a day on that. So it's busy as hell, but just grateful to be alive. And the immediate family, we're all over social media. And it's myself, Russ Kunkel, Danny Korchmar, Waddy Wachtel, and Steve Postel. And we've been together for 51 years.
All right, thank you for everybody for that. I got about 20 seconds. Marco Wilkinson, like remix, Daniel Martins, Rising Up from Mental Slavery, and the one and only Leland Sklar. Thank you. If I always say this, if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. This is Brian Sebastian. We will see you next week.